Hello students, this is the last lecture in this series. The last method which is used for XRD study is powder diffraction method. Now powder diffraction method, as the name suggests, here the sample is supposed to be taken in a powdered form. You can see over here it is not a single molecule, rather these are the mixed molecules of the crystal which is being crushed finely, and from that fine crushed sample a very minimum amount of sample is taken for analysis. Okay, in this case again the three characters of the film play a vital role. The first character is the X-ray beam, the second character is the sample, and third character is the photographic plate. The first character X-ray, it is we are going to study X-ray with respect to its wavelength. In this case, again the monochromatic ray is used. That means monochromator is will be used in powder diffraction method. So the wavelength will be kept constant for the Bragg's law, to study the Bragg's law. And since the powdered sample is taken, in that case the angle will be continuously changing. Okay, and this angle changing is possible mainly because of the rotation or changing of the sample dimensions. And whatever sample dimensions are changing, because of that we are getting different diffraction patterns. Now earlier in the, if you can recall, for Lewis transmission method we have two subclasses. The first one was transmission method and second one was back reflection method. For the same cause they have classified into two forms. The first form, transmission method, in that case the photographic film was placed after the crystal, and for back reflection method it was placed before the crystal. The advantage which they have taken, it was of that diffraction will occur in both direction, in forward direction and in back direction. Same advantage is taken in this method also. You can see the diffraction, when this X-ray will strike the particle, there is bright possibility that diffraction will occur in the forward direction. At the same time reflection will occur in the back direction. So we will be getting cones, the diffracted cone patterns, these cone patterns in forward and in backward directions. Now we need to take advantage of this. So what they are doing is they are placing a photographic film around it. This photographic film is a very thin film. Okay, it is not too broad. This photographic film is having two openings. The first opening is at the entrance, which will be referred as the entrance slit, and the second opening is at the backwards, which will be referred as the exit slit. So that's the X-ray can enter and can leave the photographic film. Now, since the now whatever reflection and diffraction we are getting, because of this, these signals which are above the film will get lost, but the signals which are being placed on the film, which are getting impregnated on the film, will show their traces in arc form. So here you can see at the bottom, uh, if I consider this the first segment and if I consider the second segment, let's study the first segment. The first segment is, I will refer it as this one because of the back reflection. So back reflection, what will happen, since the center we are having the ray coming, so there will be no what we call as no tracing of sample over here. We will be having a very blind spot over here. But when the cone starts showing its impression on the photographic film, we will get arc formation here and here. So sorry. So here you can see the arc formation over here. I imagine that one more cone is being created over here, so that second cone will give me second arc. Okay, similar thing will happen at the farther end or at the second end. In this case also, if we can see the first cone and second cone and the center, since the center will be the beam exit segment where the beam will be moving outside the system. Secondly, the arc The segment which is coinciding with the photographic film will give a arc-like structure, and this arc-like appearance will be recorded like this. And secondly, for next cone, something like this. For more upcoming cones, we will get a though the cones are big, but on this film we will get single arc-like patterns. This is very well explained by a video. I have this is not my explanation. I have taken this what you call as uh, I have taken this from another person's video. This experiment. I liked it for very much, that the explanation part. So I wanted it to discuss it with you. So I am taking this experiment from this segment. What he has done is that he has taken a sellotape, okay, and on this sellotape, if you can see, he have placed a broader sellotape outside it, if it is visible to you. Whatever. Now, on this outer side, what he is trying to do is that he have placed two dark spots, one at this end and at second at the far end, that is like this, if you can see. बराबर है. So अगर इमेजिन करो कि जैसे यहाँ पे ये थिन फिल्म दिखाई है इन लोगों ने, फोटोग्राफिक फिल्म, तो इस फोटोग्राफिक फिल्म को मैं, ये जो बाहर का सेलोटेप दिख रहा है आपको, ये ब्रॉडर सेलोटेप, इसको मैं फोटोग्राफिक फिल्म कंसिडर करता हूँ. और अगर मैं इमेजिन करता हूँ कि मेरा सैंपल सेंटर में प्लेस्ड है, बराबर है, तो सेंटर में प्लेस होने के बाद मेरी एक्सरेज इस एंट्रेंस स्लिट से अंदर जाएगी, बराबर. अंदर जाने के बाद वो यहाँ पे डिफ्रैक्ट करेगी, या तो वो टकराने के बाद आगे बढ़ेगी या तो पीछे जाएगी. अगर पीछे जाती है तो सेलोटेप पे अपना इंप्रेशन क्रिएट करती है, सॉरी नॉट सेलोटेप, फॉर हियर वी विल रेफर एज फोटोग्राफिक प्लेट पे अपना इंप्रेशन क्रिएट करती है. और अगर सामने जाती है तो भी फोटोग्राफिक प्लेट पे अपना इंप्रेशन क्रिएट करती है. और एक बार इंप्रेशन क्रिएट करने के बाद अगर मैं इसको निकाल दूं, इस फिल्म को अगर निकाल दूं, so I will get impression something like this. I will place it on some another surface. So thus you can see what is happening over here. What is happening over here? We are getting arc-like appearances. बराबर है? The same appearances are being shown over here. So that means that is how the photographic film will work on this platform. Now here, if we can check out the data, the center is referred as a 2 theta is equals to 0. Now what is 2 theta? Theta is, we have already discussed that it should be in order to have the n value should not be 0. It should be 1, 2, 3 and so on. So for that cells, if it goes 0, we will be having no constructive interference, and since there is no constructive interference occurring, so we are having a dark patch over here. We are having no data for it. Same thing will occur at 0 degree and at the 180 degree. Okay, if I consider this as the center, so this will be the 0 degree and this will be the second part will be the 180 degree. So we will be getting two dark spots, and from the experiment we can see we will have some appearance something like this. From selective experiment, I have taken it from the person's video. Now here you can see in the front segment and in the back segment, on both the part, the arcs are being formed, and likewise the reading is taken. Now these arcs, I will again come back to it. If I consider these two arcs, the distance between these two, okay, the distance between these two arcs can, that this difference in distance can be used to calculate the length of the arc circles. This will be considered as the length of the arc circles, and it can be used by placing it in specific formula of L is equals to 2 pi r into theta upon 360 degree. We will get the value of, we will be able to calculate the value of the length, which will be getting correlated with the interplanar distance between the two layers. Okay, so this was all about powder diffraction method. In this case, what important tools we have studied is that here, in case of, instead of large crystal, we will be using small amount of powder. Secondly, monochromatic light source will be used for this process. Then thirdly, the transmitted beam will be not stored, it will be passed through the exit slit, and this method is commonly used for identification purposes by comparing. Yes, it compares. What it will do is that if we have record of some reported, if we have record of some reported sample, say NaCl crystal I am taking, and for NaCl crystal my record is with me. So if any unknown sample comes to me, and if that unknown samples, this record matches with that of NaCl, then I can identify the sample is of the sample is NaCl. So likewise, if a known record is present, it will help us to identify the unknown sample. Okay.